What's up, guys? Neil over here taking a look at the Stokastic MLB DFS Lineup Generator for tonight's slate. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. If you haven't yet signed up for the Lineup Generator, you can still get it for 50% off your first week using the link in the description of this video on YouTube, or if you're on Twitter, it's just in my tweet. It's going to be just $4.48 for the first week if you use that link. Still going to be just $8.95 a week. After that, still a fantastic deal for a tool that only gives you plus EV lineups. According to these stochastic sims, every lineup you're going to get out of a lineup generator should be profitable over the long run. All right, we're going to start by looking at some DraftKings lineups. Going to do all stack types, so a mix of 5-3, 5-0, and 4-4 stacks. Going to do a mix, all lineups, so chalky, balance, and contrarian lineups all included here, and not going to lock anybody in. It is a short slate. We've got Lance Lynn and Corbin Burnes as the pitcher for this first lineup. We've got a 5-3 Padres Mets stack here. Let's take a look at these pitchers in the top pitchers tool. So it's Lynn and Burnes. Lynn, number one in the top pitchers tool, 41% chance of being a top two pitcher. Corbin Burnes, third, 32% chance of being a top two pitcher, and a little bit of nice leverage there. And then we had the Mets and the Padres as our stacks. Mets top of the board with a 24% chance of being the top stack. A little bit of positive leverage there as well. And then we've got the Padres down second to the bottom there, just an 8% chance of being the top stack. Looking at the lineup itself, we do have a few players that are getting kind of low ownership here. Miguel Cabrera, just 5% ownership for Miggy at 2,100. Kind of interesting there. I think he just hit a home run and is tied for 26th in his career, home runs, something like that. Tied with, I believe, Gary Sheffield, but I think he only has like 2 home runs on the year. Kerry Carpenter, 9%. So a couple lower owned bats here. Total ownership, we're getting up to 195% ownership, almost all the way on the chalky end of the spectrum. You're going to have to eat some ownership on a slate this size, unfortunately, but looks like a good lineup. I'm going to save this one. Second lineup, Tariq Skubal and Jose Quintana as the pitchers. Quintana has just 11% ownership in the top pitchers tool. Neither of them towards the top of the board. We've got Skubal is fourth on the board, 31% chance of being a top two pitcher. Quintana 6th with a 19% chance of being a top two pitcher. Both relatively inexpensive, though, allowing you to pay up for some bats. We've got, again, the Mets and the Padres. Now we have the Mets as the primary stack. Again, 24% chance, whereas the Padres have an 8% chance of being the top stack here. Ownership a little bit lower than the last one, still, fairly high. As I said, you have to eat some. Jake Cronenworth just coming in at 6% ownership. Manny Machado, 9%. So we do have a couple lower owned bats here. All right, I'm just going to go through and save 20 lineups, see what our exposures look like. After 20 lineups, we have 75% Jeff McNeil, 70% Francisco Lindor, 70% Brandon Nimmo, 60% Francisco Alvarez, and 55% Pete Alonso are our top exposures here. I'd probably cut back a little bit on these high-end guys, try to get below 70% on every bat here, but probably not too much. Maybe I'd try to cut it back to like 60%. Again, it's a 4-game slate. You're going to have to be kind of condensing your exposure, so it's whoever you're comfortable playing here. Let's take a look at FanDuel as well. All stack types, all lineup types, not locking anybody. Got Lance Lynn as the pitcher in this first lineup. See how he looks in the top pitcher. So he is the top of the board on FanDuel, 18% chance of being the top pitcher. Then we have a 4-2-2 stack with the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers as our stacks here. Let's take a look in the top stacks tool on FanDuel. We've got the Mets top of the board, 23% chance of being the top stack. They're our 4-man. And then we have the Dodgers and the Padres as our 2-man stack. No, sorry, the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers as our 2-man stacks. We have 12% going to the 12% chance for the Diamondbacks to be the top stack, 11% chance for the Dodgers to be the top stack as well. All right, I'm going to save this one and let's just take a look. So we have total ownership at 196% in this lineup, but still not on the far chalk end of the spectrum. So we might see some with even more than that. All right, so this one actually fairly contrarian here. We've got Zach Gallen as the pitcher. Gallen second on the board with a 16% chance of being the top pitcher. And then we have a 4-4 Mets and Guardians stack. Mets again, top of the board. Guardians, bottom of the board with just an 8% chance of being the top stack on the board, but coming in at just 5% ownership and a 14% chance of being the top value stack as well. So kind of looking pretty good. Even though they are bottom of the board in terms of top stack odds, they still have 8% chance and they're getting some positive leverage. So it looks like a really nice lineup and pretty contrarian, coming in at just 162% total ownership on this one and still projects really well. All right, I'm just going to go through save 20 lineups, see what our exposures look like. After 20 laps, we have 90% Francisco Lindor, 70% Pete Alonso, 65% Brandon Nimmo, 55% Jeff McNeil. I will say I prefer, if I'm going to have a ton of exposure to some bats, these are the bats on the Mets that I would prefer to have a ton of exposure to. I still don't want this much, though. I'd still probably cut it back a little bit, at least try to get below 60% or so on each individual bat. Even if I do have Met stacks, I would prefer to diversify within those Met stacks. So I'd probably go back, try to find some more contrarian stacks, get rid of some of my Mets heavy stacks, some of these Lindor stacks, because 90% is a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. But again, that's just a matter of risk tolerance. Every lineup you're going to get here is going to be plus EV. So you could just run these 20 lineups. You're running 20 good lineups. It actually worked out pretty well. If you jammed the Mariners yesterday, as the lineup generator is telling you to do, you did quite well on that slate. So you could do the same thing today. Just run with the lineups you get. I'd probably cut it back just a little bit to diversify my lineups, but just nitpicking. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. And again, please do like the video or the tweet. Helps me out a lot. Good luck tonight.